Morning. Yay. Well, good morning. This is Yvonne Myers of the Fort Collins Area Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for joining us for our 2023 Tuesday Talent Series. Super excited to bring this session to you, work-based learning, connecting businesses to local high school students for today and tomorrow's workforce needs, something that everyone is looking for. Absolutely. So I'd like to start with recognizing our 2023 Talent Series sponsor, which is Plante Moran. Plante Moran is among the nation's largest accounting, tax, consulting, and wealth management firms and provides a full line of services to organizations in the following industries: manufacturing and distribution, financial services, service, healthcare, private equity, public sector, real estate, construction, and energy. Plante Moran has a staff of more than 3,300 professionals throughout the United States and international offices in Shanghai, China, Mumbai, India, Tokyo, Japan, and Monterrey, Mexico. In Colorado, Plante Moran has served its Colorado clients for more than 40 years with offices in Broomfield, Denver, and Fort Collins. Plante Moran has been recognized by a number of organizations, including Fortune magazine, as one of the country's best places to work. For more information, visit plantemoran.com. And I'd like to start by introducing Stefanie Merrell, and then she'll introduce all the amazing folks that are on this call from our high schools in the area. Stefanie Merrell is the K12 Work-Based Learning Business Liaison for the region, a new position that launched in July of 2022. Funded through a Larimer County Workforce Innovation Grant received by the Fort Collins Area Chamber of Commerce, Stefanie works alongside Poudre, Thompson, Estes Park School Districts, and Colorado Early College Fort Collins to connect our local businesses to K12 students for work-based learning experiences. Previous to this role, Stefanie worked in long-term care for over 20 years. She herself was an intern and throughout her career has supported many K12 and college students in job shadows, internships, apprenticeships, and employment. She is a mother of 2 middle-aged school children in the Poudre School District. Stefanie, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Yvonne. And I want to be sure that everyone can see my screen. Did that transition get made? No. Okay. Let me try again. And now. Very good. Thank you. Again, thank you, Yvonne, and thank you to the Fort Collins Area Chamber of Commerce for hosting the Talent Series and for having us here today. There are, as Yvonne mentioned, this is going to be recorded or is being recorded for others to view later. However, I wanted to take time to have our guest, it looks like Laura Anderson is here, introduce yourself and what business you're from, if that's all right.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Laura Anderson and I'm with Summit Stone Health Partners. I'm on our talent management team and my title is Talent Attraction and Outreach Specialist.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. Thanks for being here today. As you can see, there's other individuals here in the room. I'm going to give them proper time to introduce themselves in just a moment. But again, I'm Stefanie Merrell. I'm the K12 Work-Based Learning Business Liaison for Larimer County. Today we're going to just share some information on how businesses can connect to high school students for important and valuable work experiences, and ultimately a chance to connect to these students for your workforce needs in our community. There we go. Before we begin, though, I want to just take a look at our agenda for today so we know what goals we want to get out of the session today. Of course, I want to introduce myself a little bit more in detail, and of course, the work-based learning coordinators who are in the room. Those in the room right now are from Poudre School District. We want to talk about why you should engage in work-based learning opportunities. We want to talk about shared goals between the high schools and also the businesses when it comes to work-based learning, and lift up the benefits for businesses on why they should engage. We're going to talk a lot about Xello. Xello is a shared platform that students are using to explore careers and then connect to businesses ultimately. And then how do you engage? So those are our goals for the session. Again, and as Yvonne mentioned, my role started in July of 2022. And basically my role is funded through the Larimer County Workforce Innovation Grant. So my goals include connecting students to businesses for paid opportunities. So giving you another tool in your toolbox for workforce. As Yvonne mentioned again, this position does serve Estes Park, Poudre, Thompson, and Colorado Early College here in Fort Collins. And it really is a one-stop shop. So Xello is the platform, again, that we use, and that platform being used by all of these school districts gives you an opportunity to, engage in the platform once, but connect to all the students in all those school districts. Again, there are many individuals on the school side of this equation, and that's again why my role came about, because they are busy individuals working with students, working at the schools, and they really wanted to have a dedicated individual in the business explaining Xello and work-based learning to the business. But I wanted to give these individuals a time to introduce themselves and what school they are a part of. Tierney Lane is the work-based learning coordinator at Colorado Early College in Fort Collins. She is actually doing double duty. So she is teaching a class right now, but may be able to join us later. And I think we'll just start with Pam and go down the list. So Pam, if you want to unmute and introduce yourself, maybe share what school you're the work-based learning coordinator for and how long you've been in your role.
Hi, I'm Pam Davidson. I'm the work-based learning coordinator at Fort Collins High School, and I have been in this role since the 2017-2018 school year.
Hello, I'm Tara Tebow. I'm at Fossil Ridge High School, and I've been in this role in and out for about 14 years.
And I'm Robert Papp. I'm the work-based learning coordinator at Rocky Mountain High School, and this will be my 6th year.
Very good. And we are missing Wendy. We understand she's in the middle of just a drill at her high school, because we never know what's going to happen at those high schools. Wendy is the work-based learning coordinator at Poudre High School. And then Shannon was not able to join us, but she is the Timnath Middle High School work-based learning coordinator. Melissa?
I'm Melissa Newbanks, and I'm the work-based learning coordinator at Wellington Middle High School, and this is my first year in Poudre.
Hi, I'm Emily Breeze. I am the work-based learning coordinator for Centennial, Futures Lab, Poudre Community Academy, Poudre Global Academy, and Polaris. And this is my first year in this role.
But you have a lot to do, Emily. All right, we want to just lift up now the key players. So as we talk about work-based learning, as we talk about Xello, as we talk about businesses, all of these components are necessary to have a successful work-based learning program, whether you're on the business side or the student side. So of course, we're talking about connecting to the students. The students are the emerging workforce. Of course, the individuals in the room today are a key player in this equation, the work-based learning coordinators. And we're going to talk a little bit later about what their specific roles are in the school. Of course, myself, again, a new role in the equation, but hopefully with someone sitting on the business side of the equation, we're really adding more to the Xello platform to connect more businesses and more students in the long run. And of course, we need the business and industry to play. So today we're going to lift up some of the benefits of engaging in work-based learning and talk about that Xello platform, which is an electronic platform that's used by the schools already. And we keep talking about work-based learning. I just wanted to put it out there. Let's look at the definition, or one of the definitions of work-based learning. It's a broad term used to describe both the traditional classroom education as well as gaining experience in the workplace, so that you have both components to a successful education and learning experience. So now I wanted to take time to have the work-based learning coordinators talk about what they know when it comes to work-based learning. Pam, we talk a little bit about career pathways, and I wanted Pam to take a moment to talk about career pathways as it relates to high schools nowadays. And I'm going to pull up actually the PSD Future Ready site. If you want to look at this site as a business, just pscfutureready.org. This has a lot of valuable information on the pathways and also the course description within those pathways. So Pam?
So in Poudre School District, we have kind of organized our courses into these different pathways that students might be interested in exploring or even working in the future. Every school has their own combination of pathways within their schools. So we try to tie all of our pathways to in-demand careers, and we're preparing students to be working in those pathways and gaining hands-on experiences. So when we look at our different pathways, Fort Collins High School will have the business and marketing. We'll have our computer science, culinary and hospitality, design and multimedia. Most of these pathways are at each of our high schools. We do sometimes have some specialty areas within different high schools that they can take. And when we're talking about a pathway, we're talking about those series of courses that students are learning about and developing skills within those particular courses. Every pathway starts with like a level 1 introduction course. So you can see in this interior design pathway, those introductory courses might be like the interior design, residential design, and then we have a fashion design and merchandising. So depending on what a student might be interested in, they could start with either one of those introductory courses and get a great foundation. Once they've completed that level 1 course, they can move on to like that next level course. It'll take them a little bit more in depth. So if we were to look at that fashion design pathway, then they would be moving into like a fashion design and merchandising level 2 course that's offered at all of our high schools. And then they would progress down to a level 3 or a level 4 course. That level 4 course is a capstone or a work-based learning course where we're really hoping that those students can take those skills that they've applied in their from their classes that they've taken and use them in the workforce. So a student that is in that fashion design pathway maybe has taken those level 1 and 2 and 3 courses, and then now they're working in a boutique where they are helping customers select different outfits and designs. They may be working somewhere where they're actually repairing garments, or they are repairing garments, or they're like designing different outfits and things like that. One of the examples we have some students who might be working at like a children's clothing store, and so they might be in that fashion pathway as they're like helping moms pick out things for their kiddos. So we have this in every one of our different pathways. Some of the new pathways that we've added to some of our schools recently would be like that health science pathway. That's a huge interest area for students, and also a high demand growth area for careers. And so Collins has added the health science pathway. 2 of our other schools have already had those pathways. So we're like continually adding things that are in demand and of interest to our students in our schools. So health science starts with that intro to health science. We have front range courses where students are earning some college credit during our pathways. And then that pathway would end with that work-based learning healthcare opportunity where students might be working for a healthcare organization as a personal care provider, a CNA, any of those types of positions where they are gaining hands-on experience in the field and building additional skills with that hands-on application.
Thank you, Pam. I like to bring this up and pull this up when I'm talking to businesses based on the business that I'm speaking to, because, for example, I met with an interior design company the other day, and they were not aware that high school students were taking these types of classes that were really focused on that specific career. And so once that business knew that, it was like, oh my gosh, yes, let's just make that one of the requirements for this position, is that they would have to have taken one of those courses. And that really was a game changer for that business. So going to this site and exploring it is a really valuable resource. Thank you again, Pam. Melissa, I wanted to turn it over to you. We talk about work-based learning opportunities, and I just wanted to have more of a clear understanding of what those opportunities are from the, of course, education coordinated side of the equation to the business-led component.
Sure. So there are a ton of different options that that are available. We have everything from internships and externships to informational interviews and mock interviews that businesses are, that we would love to have support in. We also have the career counseling and career fairs. So several of the high schools are working on career fairs right now. That is an option. Apprenticeships and externships are an option for kids that are further along in their programming so that they can get hands-on experience in a specific industry and field that they're very interested in.
Thank you, Melissa.
Yep.
I'm going to go backwards. Okay, Tara, I wanted to talk a little bit about, we know that the goals of work-based learning ultimately is to provide valuable experiences for businesses, for students. But I wanted to talk about what additional benefits you see in students who engage in work-based learning. So in other words, how do you see students grow as individuals through this experience, and how valuable is that to the business world?
Yeah, it is so valuable to our students. They gain so much confidence by attending those career fairs or being given the chance to interview, to put their resume together and talk with business professionals. And then when they're hired on, just given those real world projects that they see come to fruition, and they feel valued in the workplace. They get to work with adults and communicate with adults and learn the importance of email, checking their email, and what it's like to show up on time, prepared, ready to go to work, how to communicate if you can't make it, you're sick, all these great experiences that they don't always get while they're a high school student inside the walls of the high school. When we send them out of our walls, whether it's for, like Melissa mentioned, an internship, a job shadow, an informational interview. It doesn't matter if it's just an hour-long experience or tour, or if it's over 6 months or a year. Every student walks away with a new perspective and so much value. They're also getting the opportunity to build their resume for their future, and possibly network and make those connections. So down the road, if a business isn't hiring at the time, maybe after they graduate high school, or if they choose to go on to college after they graduate college, they can come back and that business comes to mind, and it's stuck there, that experience that they had in high school, and they want to go back to that business.
Very good. Thank you, Tara. And I know that recently PSD had hosted a hiring fair for their students, and I was there, and it was really just nice, I think, to see students be able to walk up to a business table and engage with appropriate business questions and hand over the resume. These are important skills for not just the hiring fair, but you know, their first, second, third, and all the interviews they'll have in their lifetime. So
absolutely. And they learn that they like talking to adults, and you know how many jobs and careers that are out there that they just didn't even know existed. So they went in there with this mentality of they know what's out there, and they learn so much more than that.
Very good. Thank you, Tara. Robert, I know that it's been a long time since I've been in high school, and maybe you all.
Me too.
And high school has changed a lot. And work-based learning is one of those ways that high school has changed. And so if we haven't been in high school recently, and we don't have, you know, those around us, maybe children who have been in high school recently, then this work-based learning world, and especially Xello, those are new terms to us. And sometimes I find that some businesses don't know that they can engage because of kind of how high schools run today are not. It's not traditionally how we know high school to have run. So I was hoping you could just take some time to break down some of those components of work-based learning that would maybe give businesses reason to know that they can actually engage in this.
Well, I think one of the big things is that, you know, students can receive their work-based learning credit. And be able to put that on their transcript and actually have time off during the day to be able to do a lot of those work-based learning experiences. So I think that's a really huge shift. Poudre School District has been doing this for a few years now and was really one of the leaders up in this area. But yeah, students can actually get up to 45 credits of elective credits to be able to go out and experience an internship, apprenticeship, you know, all those different job experience. And it gives them flexibility in their schedule to be able to maybe work in the morning or the afternoon. It allows them to be able to be counted as a full-time student. So there's that flexibility. Basically, to get 5 credits in a quarter or a semester, they have to work 75 hours, and they document that through the work-based learning coordinators on a timesheet, and we call it variable credit. And if they work less than that, they just get less credits. But it's a nice way that they can be honored for the work they're doing, but also for employers that they have flexibility to go out and maybe work in the morning or the afternoon. For example, I have a student that's doing an apprenticeship at New Works Mechanical. He works in the morning. He gets work-based learning credit, so he's able to get that class as that full-time student. And then he comes to Rocky in the afternoon to do his classes. So I think that flexibility is definitely something that we love seeing, and something that's a definite benefit. The biggest thing that employers would need to do, there's a work-based learning agreement that's signed between the employer, a parent, guardian, a student, and ourselves as the work-based learning coordinator. It just kind of does a lot of the program components and what's involved on everyone's part. But that's something that can get set up pretty easily. And that's really what our role is, to help with that. And the other thing is students can get summer credit. So if they're working a job over the summer or doing an internship, apprenticeship, or any of these work-based learning experiences, that's an option for them to do too.
And I wanted to point out too, Robert, I know that if a student's in a summer experience or opportunity, and then school starts, you know, in the fall, they can actually work with the school to arrange their schedule to accommodate some of those hours of their opportunity. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, we'd definitely love to have it earlier, because a lot of, you know, the schools are putting schedules together in the spring. So sometimes our challenge is in the summer, we're trying to get schedules in the fall because classes are, you know, full, but we'll definitely work with the students and the counselor and see what's, you know, available to be able to do that. And again, that's really what our role here in the school is, to really be that facilitator between the student, counselor, the employer and those different opportunities.
And then one of the reasons that I love working with you all is I know that if I go out and find an opportunity, I can send an email or call any one of you. And a lot of times you'll say, you know what, I'll go lift that up in front of a particular class, or I have an individual in mind who can connect to that opportunity. So this isn't, you know, I like to say that Xello and this work-based learning process is intentional. You know, sometimes students will connect to anything that looks cool, but if we're really honing in on a specific opportunity, I have that opportunity to contact each of you and see if you have an individual in mind that could match. I know that's happened a couple times so far in just the short time that I've been here. Thank you. And then we're going to go on, I think, to Melissa. Melissa, besides Xello, can you share other ways that businesses can engage with schools, whether or not they're actually hosting a student on site?
Sure. So like I mentioned, there are a ton of hiring fairs happening that we would love businesses to come and participate in. Pam has something going on the 11th, which is a hiring fair, as well as a military celebration and a drone competition thing. That's really awesome. We have another thing at the Futures Lab for a half-hour happy hour that I can pass along the information to that. We have a hiring fair coming up here at Wellington. So those are all different ways that you guys can help. In addition to tours, we love touring businesses and doing that kind of stuff. So those are some opportunities that we would love your help in. Am I missing anything?
I know I've gotten emails from several of you about mock interviews. How do businesses engage with mock interviews or advisory meetings?
So advisory meetings, the Poudre School District has advisory meetings for every single pathway. And so having industry-specific partnerships with specific businesses to participate on the advisory boards is really helpful. That way we know what's going on the business side, and you guys have a better idea of what's happening in the schools, which is really helpful for everybody. As far as mock interviews go, if you reach out to us, or we can reach out to the businesses and say we need interviews for these specific positions, that's another way that you can help support us as well.
Thank you. And we're talking a lot about Xello, so I wanted to just go into a deeper look of Xello. So again, it's a Northern Colorado collaboration. So once a business or an opportunity is posted in Xello, it goes out to the high schools of Estes Park, Poudre, Thompson, and Colorado Early College. And Xello is a platform that students are already engaged in. A lot of times, middle school students already have a Xello profiles, and they can continue taking tests and doing exploration throughout high school. Of course, then students create these pathways and these networks to really sort of build on their strengths and skills and learning style to connect to different businesses. And I'm going to show you that in a little bit. Of course, Xello is that platform we use for business and industries to post the opportunities. And then also we have the student side. So it is that connection. I also want to share that this is a free platform for businesses. So sometimes, businesses say it all sounds great, but how much does it cost? It doesn't cost anything. We want to connect to you. And my role and my connection with you is also no charge. So it's through that grant. So this isn't anything that we're selling. It's something that you should be engaged in if you're interested in connecting to these students. And I'm going to hope that my link works here. And I want to show you Xello. Oops. As many times as I said, I told it to keep me logged in, it doesn't. So here we are. All right, so I'm going to take you through Xello, just a little brief demonstration as a student, and then also on my side of the equation as I enter businesses into Xello. The work-based learning component or portion of Xello is just a small component, as Tara mentioned and others have mentioned. This really does help with resume building, planning courses, and their individual career and academic plans. So work-based learning is one component of Xello. You can also really look into colleges and other options through Xello. So I am just going to hop on as a demo student. So I'm going to pretend I'm in grade 11 here, and I'm going to view my dashboard as a student. I want to point out that there are these different quizzes that you can take that I had suggested before. So this really talks about your personality style. I actually had my my son actually take all these quizzes, so it's a real world look at maybe what would be a good match for him. Learning style talks about your learning style. I like that you can do this quiz again, at least my kids like that. And you can look into skills as well. So in this demo, I'm going to show you some of the careers that are a match. Here we can actually change the minimum salary. That's a component that you should keep in mind when you're a student doing career exploration. If I know that I want to live in a certain area or live a certain lifestyle, you should have the knowledge of, how much a future career is going to pay. And then you can talk about the education that you want to take. And then you can see that the number of careers change when I change this criteria up here. Right now I have 232 matches. If I go into, let's say, landscape architect, this is a look into just that specific career. So you can see that this is a good match for my son. I can actually click on this and find out why. Over here on the right, it talks about similar careers. So maybe being a gardener is similar, but it's only a fair match. And again, you can find out why. Maybe, he likes to be indoors, planning things rather than outdoors with his hands dirty. So that's nice. You can save these careers. You can look at the job description. You can look at interviews from people that are in that profession. And this is where, if we're in the real life Xello for Northern Colorado piece, again, I'm just the demo. You can click on that and see companies that are linked to that career. And then you can click on that company, read more about it, and then see if they have opportunities through that company. If we keep looking, you can see what the demand is for that career. So if it's a low demand, maybe I want to rethink what I'm going to do in the future because no one's hiring for that. Core tasks, what the workplace looks like, why it's suited to these certain personality styles, the working conditions, and the earnings. These are national earnings, but you can also change it by state. So if I want to move to Delaware, what would that look like for me? And then what other requirements and education do I need for a career path in this profession? And then what education and training looks like and related majors. So this is really great. I hear a lot of businesses say, why didn't I have this when I was in high school? So we have it now, which is a wonderful thing for our future. And just remember, this is kind of like going just down the rabbit hole of exploration. Now, this is a great way to connect if students know, gosh, I want to be a landscape architect. I'm going to go right into that career. I'm going to look at what companies and opportunities are out there. But there's other ways for students to explore this platform. And one of the ways is to just look at the opportunities available. Look at the careers. So these are, again, demo opportunities, but if I were just a student looking, I could click on this internship. I could see how many positions, whether it's paid or unpaid, and then read a little bit more about that specific opportunity. And this is how work-based learning coordinators are involved, because we don't give the students the link directly to that opportunity. They have to request it, and that shows up for the work-based learning coordinators, and then that coordinator and the student can meet and get that link and talk about whether or not, you know, the requirements can be fulfilled by that student. And work-based learning coordinators, please chime in if you want to add anything. Then I wanted to go through the other component, which is the business side of the equation, and where I spend most of my time. So when we talk about having a profile in Xello, that's all done through me. So we don't want this to be, you know, one more thing that a business has to do. Once you create your profile and your opportunity, it's a really easy, I guess, connection with me, because I'm the one who activates it or changes it. And that can be done through a simple email conversation if you wanted to update or change your opportunity. But we're going to look at an opportunity that I just recently put in, which is just through Sam's Club here in town. So as a business, we put your logo in front of the students, your name, your websites, how big your company is, and the description that you want students to see about your company. Where you're located, how we contact you. Jenny did go through the PSD volunteer registration process, and that's how you become a contact in Xello. A background check is ran on all of those individuals. So that's how Jenny became the contact. And this is how all of those networking connections are made in Xello. So Sam's Club is offering a multi-departmental internship, and I asked Jenny what careers could possibly be tied to Sam's Club, and gosh, she had a lot. So some companies just have a few. She was like, gosh, you can almost do anything after this internship because you're exposed to so many components of the store and management and marketing and so on and so forth. So Sam's Club, like I said, has a lot. This is not the norm. And then I just activate or inactivate that status. And when the students see it, they see it in this nice little bundle of opportunity, and you can see that they do have an internship posting. So let's look at that. If we go to opportunities, there's my internship. And Melissa was talking about all the different types of work-based learning opportunities. Those are listed right here. This is an internship. And then I actually just send a template out to businesses and say, hey, what's the name? What's the job description? What requirements do you need, or qualifications or skills or classes that you want them to have taken? What's the minimum age, the length of position, so on and so forth. And then again, to apply, they click that request button, and that goes to the work-based learning coordinators to get that link. We can talk about number of positions, whether it's paid or unpaid. We can set a start and end date for that opportunity, and also identify the career cluster or pathway that that opportunity is associated with. And again, we can set this up at any time, and I just activate it or inactivate it for the business. Again, it's put in this nice little package for the students, and they request that opportunity. And then there are also, this is kind of cool, we can actually see the requests that the students make. So we can see if 5 students were interested in your opportunity, 10, so on and so forth, or if there's not any, what else can we do to market your opportunity to our students, either by talking that work-based learning coordinators speaking to classes, or maybe sending out a flyer, or what else can we do to connect? Work-based learning coordinators, anything to add?
Yeah, Stephanie, I'll add from the student side, it's very successful. Students get on Indeed, or they go on Craigslist, and they just run into so many scams, or you've got to be 18 and up, or you've got to have 2 or 3 years experience. And this is a platform that allows businesses to connect with high school students at 15 and up, or 16 and up, or 14 and up, or 18 and up, whatever they choose, and all that information is in there. So it makes it really easy to see what students actually qualify and what they don't, which is great. Students can also sort by paid or unpaid positions, depending on what they're looking for. Thank you.
Thank you for adding that, Tara. And again, I want to just reiterate the fact that this is a really intentional platform that is just for students. So you talked about Indeed and some of those other platforms that go out into the big wide world, and you hope that you get someone. This process is very intentional because it is geared towards those students, and there's already a relationship with the school district and that business through Xello.
Yep, and when they're making the request, they've got support on from the school end. So there's one of us at every single school. If they get stuck in the job application, or they don't have a resume, we sit down and we help them with that, so it doesn't create a barrier to applying for that position.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. And so let's say that you want to engage as a business. I can sit down with you. That's my role. We can identify what your goals are. So finding a champion for your business and figuring out what you want to achieve as a business is really important. We don't have to post an opportunity outside of what the business needs are. So for example, sometimes I talk to businesses and they go, gosh, when could a student come, or could a student do this? Let's post out what the business needs. And I guarantee between all of the high schools in the area, we just need to find, 1 or 2 people to connect to that opportunity and be good fits. So I like to get away from the conversation with businesses, what does the student want? Let's post what the business needs. And we can talk about what works for the business. Sometimes it might be easier to just start small. Let's engage by doing a workplace tour, an informational interview, and then move into some of those opportunities that takes a little bit more, maybe time and engagement. So that's something that I can discuss with each business and fit their needs. And then once we do that, we want to just start building that profile within Xello, like you all saw. And then again, we can do that as early as possible. So I like to encourage businesses, if they're ready to engage, to go ahead and build that profile, build that opportunity as far as we can. And then we can activate it very, very easily so that there's not a rush to do that at the last minute when the business is in need. And then, of course, when your business need or availability grows and you've already engaged in work-based learning, you can see how easy and simple and great it is. And then you can increase that need and say, gosh, I would like someone for the fall. I had this great summer experience with work-based learning. What does this look like to engage per semester and bring more students into my building, which of course is one of the benefits of work-based learning is advertising your business. And at this point, I just want to go back to the coordinators now that we've seen Xello. Emily, the title of work-based learning coordinator might be an unknown for some of our businesses. Sometimes I hear, oh, is it like an advisor or is it like a counselor? So will you explain a little bit more about the work-based learning coordinator's role?
Sure. We are all of those things, I would say. We definitely counsel kids in finding jobs. A lot of our role is just connecting kids with these opportunities. We spend a lot of time presenting Xello to classes and promoting Xello in our schools. We also, as Robert mentioned, the work-based learning agreements, we are in charge of those. We make sure those are signed and appropriate. We make sure kids are getting the right credits. We work with counselors a lot, but a lot of our job is promoting these opportunities and making sure kids are aware of them, and then helping kids through each and every step of applying for the position. So a lot of times we're in a classroom helping with resumes, cover letters, mock interviews, and just getting kids aware of what an appropriate resume looks like. But it's a lot of promotional materials as well. We're doing career tours and we're making flyers and updating newsletters. And a lot of our job is just awareness of all of this cool stuff that we have.
Thank you. Thank you, Emily. Wendy, thank you for joining us. If you'll just take a moment to introduce yourself, what school you're with, and then I'd like you to touch on the Xello process with the work-based learning coordinator and the student. Just walk us through how and when students use Xello in and out of school. And I touched on it a little bit, but from the work-based learning coordinator's view, what does that process look like?
Hi, I'm Wendy Tomashaw. I am the work-based learning coordinator at Poudre High School. And I was a little late to the meeting. Sorry about that. We're a school and we have things going on and we had a little something going on. So anyway, I'm here now.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Stephanie. So the process for a student with Xello, as Stephanie showed you earlier, they go through a gamut of inventories to learn about themselves, learn about careers they may be interested in, different career paths they may be interested in. And one of the early on activities is for the student to identify careers that they like. And so they select that Save Career Heart. And then they also select career pathways. One of the things we do as work-based learning coordinators when we receive Xello opportunities is we send out to the students who have selected particular careers or career paths or both. We send them the opportunity because they've identified that they want to work in a particular area. For instance, SAMS, as you showed, there would be lots of different students in lots of different areas in the school who would be potentially interested in working there in an internship. The next thing that happens as work-based learning coordinators, we reach out to particular teachers in a pathway, ask them to send out information to students regarding the opportunities in Xello. And then we also ask if we can come into the particular classes and present on the opportunity so that students have a firsthand personal touch regarding learning about the opportunity. And then they also have the option at that point to talk with us if they have questions or they want to set up a meeting to talk further about it. We can do that at that time. Like you mentioned earlier, we also ask teachers to help us with students that they think might be a good fit, or if we have contact with particular students that we know might be a good fit, that's another way for them to engage in the opportunities on Xello. So if those opportunities don't bring the students to us, another way that they can do it is make that request. And then on the backside, as work-based learning coordinators, we are engaging with the student who have made those requests. And then we connect with them to see through a vetting process if they are recommended from a teacher, what particular coursework they may have, what do their grades look like, so that we can make sure that they're a good fit for the role and that they're actually interested in what it is when we sit down and talk with them. We help them with their resumes and cover letters if that's what's needed, or if there's some questions potentially the employer or experience is wanting them to answer in an email, and any other things that the business may ask from us.
Wendy, you brought up a really great point that I just wanted to lift up. The business may have no idea how much you all work to promote their opportunity, but just listening to you talk about what your everyday looks like, it's a lot of promoting the business opportunity to the students in a very individualized and personal way. So that is a great thing to lift up, and thank you all for all you do.
Thank you.
Tara, lastly, I think we know that work-based learning works. The ideal scenario is to, grow students, build the workforce. Can you share with us a success story that you have been a part of from the work-based learning Xello side all the way to maybe employment?
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh, it's hard to think of just one because there are so many success stories. What comes to mind is we kind of think of the students who are going to college and the students who don't want to go to college. So I have a story for each. Had a student who applied to Tolmar, went to work at their manufacturing facility, had to ride his bike at first, had to get dropped off from a parent, really tried hard, found a way to get there, starting his senior year, and worked all throughout his senior year about 20 hours a week and really, really enjoyed it. Had no idea manufacturing was an option, didn't know anything about manufacturing, but because of a post on Xello and the pay was attractive, he applied and was hired by Tolmar. He finished his senior year, graduated. Within 6 months after him graduating, Tolmar had already promoted him into a management position. And it's, oh gosh, my lights just went out. It's really cool to see now that he is hiring our other students, into great opportunities at the same company and mentoring them and helping them out. So, in a short amount of time, his hard work paid off, and he's a manager and won't go on to college and has a great career here in Northern Colorado, and he can afford to pay rent and support himself. Have another student who knew she was college bound, but applied her senior year for a internship at HP, was hired on, thought she wanted to go out of state to college, move away to college, but because she liked her experience so much at HP, she decided to stay here in town and go to CSU, finished her bachelor's degree at CSU. Her junior year, HP offered her a full-time position with the company before she graduated, almost a year before she graduated. Because they saw the value in her too as an employee and knew she was trained and wanted to keep her on. So she didn't even have to go through the job searches or the hiring fairs, and she was hired on, and she is still at HP right now, going on her 7th or 8th year. So just wanted to give an example of both pathways because it really does work for all students. Doesn't have to be just for those going to college or just for those that do not plan to go to college. There's success in both paths.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you for sharing both of those stories, because I think it's really valuable to know that, high school model has changed, and we're not just saying go to college, and then figure out what you want to do. So thank you for sharing both of those scenarios. And I know we just have a little bit of time, but I know Tierney was able to join us. Tierney, thank you for being here. I did share that you also had to teach. So again, that is kind of what happens. You're kind of pulled in different directions. So if you want to just unmute and just talk briefly about, your role, how long you've been in it, and just a little bit about Colorado Early College, Fort Collins.
Sure, thank you. I am the work-based learning coordinator here, but I also teach our career pathways class. And so I've been doing those two things for only about a year for those full-time, but those have traditionally been kind of part-time gigs, both of them, and just stipend. So we're really trying to make sure that we're highlighting the opportunities so that though we can get more full-time people working on this. And that at Colorado Early Colleges, we're a little bit unique in that we require for their graduation to have either an associate's degree, 60 credits towards a 4-year degree, or an industry recognized certification. And sometimes they often do both. And our scheduling allows that possibility of doing both your high school requirements and getting those additional requirements done within 4 years. So it's somewhat expedited. And one of the benefits that we have, our students have, is that they have a little bit more flexibility in their schedules then. In the end, they are usually doing college courses and are on a college course schedule. So for work-based learning, their junior and senior year, it can be really nice to have like 2 full days where you don't have classes happening. And so that's where we're seeing some of the opportunities for our students that is maybe a little bit unique to other students.
Thank you, Tierney. Thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here. I'm excited that this conversation is happening.
Well, with that, I do want to lift up, why and how you should engage, the benefits of engaging. Sometimes it's just asking yourselves as a business important questions. So what does your business need? So if you can start with that need, you can probably find the opportunity that matches. I need exposure, maybe a career tour, maybe an informational interview. I need workers, maybe an internship or a paid opportunity is the way to go. So asking yourself those questions is important. I like to lift up the fact that, I always hear, gosh, I wish this existed when I was in high school. So asking yourself, how would these experiences have changed my journey, or how could they benefit my kids or families or friends? If I engage in work-based learning, how am I helping students and businesses in the future? Also, what is my workforce 5-year plan? Students are our future. So if we can connect to them now, gain exposure in our business, our industry, and educate them within those fields, then you are building and growing workforce, obviously. Sometimes it takes a champion at a business, someone who really steps up and says, I want to engage. I want to do the informational interviews. I would like to host a student. So as a business, finding that champion could be the kickstart to opportunities to engage in work-based learning in the business. And then also, of course, you just want to demonstrate the power of work-based learning for your business and students. That's how you gain more champions within the business, by bringing students in and having others see the successes and how your business can grow. So I just wanted to outline the benefits to the business or industry by engaging. Remember, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like, together, we can really create and maintain this work-based learning relationship. We can navigate through the successes and the challenges and work through those. Not every student that comes to you is going to be that diamond in the rough, but we're giving the business and the students opportunities to engage and then work through those challenges. And I wanted to just point out that, as a business leader, when I was put in front of students to talk about my role, my everyday world, what my journey was, that really empowers current employees. When you can take a little bit off their plate, that really empowers, I think, your current workforce. So that's retention. I know I always felt really good about myself when a student would ask me what I did every day, and when you start listing off everything you do, you're like, gosh, I do a good job and I love being here. So that's something to keep in mind. And basically, Xello is an opportunity, work-based learning is an opportunity to advertise your business. Showing students who you are and what you do is an increased awareness for your business. I know, my kids, they do something cool at school, and they come home and talk about it. They share it with their friends. And so that is a way to advertise your business and create that pipeline. I know specifically there was a student at Rocky that was engaged in a work-based learning experience. And I think that business that they engaged in now has more employees because that student is having such a great time with that opportunity. And then, of course, if you engage in work-based learning and have students engaging, then you're building your own workforce, training them how you want them trained, and then hopefully hiring them on as an employee. Basically, Xello work-based learning is a tool in the business toolkit to really connect directly to the future talents and create that workforce pipeline that businesses need and want for the future. And with that, I'm going to ask if there's any additional comments or additions from the work-based learning team today. Or if Laura, do you have any questions?
I don't. Thank you so much for doing this. I'm excited to be here. We're sort of at Summit Stone dipping our toe into the work-based learning world. More than that, we're like jumping into it. We're not just dipping our toe in.
Good for you.
So yeah, absolutely. So this is really exciting. This is all really helpful information. And to put all these names and faces together with all you folks that we'll hopefully be working with more, that's exciting too.
Thank you. Thanks for being here, Laura. I really appreciate
Absolutely.
that. And for you and others who are going to join this recording later, I have my information on the screen. This is an easy way to connect to me and therefore connect to all the school districts and work-based learning coordinators and ultimately the students for your business and opportunity profiles. Also, I have a QR code on the screen, and that actually just connects you to a page where you can put in your name, your business, and also what career opportunities or work-based learning opportunities you might want to engage in. And then all that does is connect you back to me, and then I contact you. So either use the information just on the screen, or you can connect to the QR code if that's easier for you. Anything else before we go today? Thank you, Yvonne, again for having us here.
Oh, I'm super glad that you're here, and I'm excited to share this video with a lot of our businesses. I think it's great, Laura, that you talked about meeting all of these folks because they are amazing people. Sorry, who care deeply about their students. So sorry. A couple of them taught my daughter, so I know them personally, and I know how much they care, and I know how hard they work. And I know that they really do want their students to have great success and to be hired and to stay here, to live in this community, live in Northern Colorado and work here. So thank you for being here today. And we will send out the slides and the recording to all those who registered and put it on our website as well. So thank you all for joining us. Next week's session is The Key to Retention is Engagement by Randy Fagan. And she's going to ask you to take 2 questions. You only have to answer 2, though. It takes 15 minutes. I haven't done mine yet, but I will. And she can actually learn all about you and how that you can help engage your employees more by knowing more about yourself. So it'll be an interesting session. So thank you to all the work-based learning coordinators today for joining us, and for the Summit Stone folks too. Thank you for being here. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.